Phong Physics Flipped Classroom. First of all, you will need to take notes on this presentation, so please pause now if you need to. This is a slightly different way to approach learning. This is my second year working with this, so there are some things that I've learned. But I do want to give you an introduction because this is most likely the first time that you've been exposed to a classroom organized like this. So you might be wondering, what exactly is a flipped classroom? And so before we can talk about a flipped classroom, let's talk about a typical classroom, one that you're most likely very used to. And in that case, in class, you have your lecture, you have your labs, and you have your some group discussion most likely in class. And then outside of class at home, you have your practice. These would be your typical homework problems. And you usually have your lab reports, for science at least. For a flipped classroom, we flip some of these items. And most noticeably, we bring the lecture to home. We bring the practice and the lab reports mostly to in class. And also, we have a greater emphasis on group discussion. And so your homework that you do at home is going to be typically the lecture and anything that you're not able to finish in class. But if you are efficient with your time, you should be able to take care of all of these items in class. Now, you're probably wondering, why are we even trying this out? And so there were a few driving questions that brought me to this idea, and this is a well-established idea now. There are many teachers doing this around the globe. So there are three primary questions for me. What is best for the students' learning? When do students need my physical presence the most? And then how can I personalize each student's education? The first question, what is best for the students' learning? There were a few ideas that I thought would be most conducive for this. There are four main parts: ownership, pace, accountability, and collaboration. The first one is probably the most important. What I've come to realize is the students that do the best, they take ownership over the material. If they have a question, they make sure that they understand it. If they think they need more practice, they don't ask me necessarily. They will go out and look for things to be able to help them on their own. When you own the material, you will do better because you will learn better and you will understand to a more complete degree. So the ownership is very important. The next one is going to be the pace. What I will do is I will tell you when things start and when they are due. And typically, I will give you roughly a week for most things. It just depends. But what you do within that week, you can finish on the day of if you're quick enough and efficient enough, but you will have the entire week. Now, we will have overlapping assignments, which means that you will need to take control over the pace, and you need to make sure that you stay on top of things. This also makes you more accountable. And not only you, but also you within a group. So if you're working on a lab and you want to work with a partner, you will need to keep each other accountable so that you can get things turned in on time. And hopefully with the group discussion, you will keep each other accountable to make sure you answer the questions and that you're working the best that you can and that you can encourage each other. And that goes along with the collaboration. I want you to help each other and help each other learn and understand in this class. So when do my students need my physical presence the most? What I've come to realize is it's actually not for the lecture necessarily. So I've simplified my lectures so that there's basic information in that. And in class, we will go more in depth, and we'll go more in depth through these three areas. Through guided practice, so I will go through things with you. I will practice with you. I will show you how to do practice problems, and I will answer your questions in a way that will guide you to an understanding. Students also typically need my help and my presence the most when they're working collaboratively in a group for a lab and you have a question about the lab, which also means for group questions, I can be there physically to be able to help you, whereas in a typical classroom, most of these things would be outside of the classroom and I wouldn't be able to help you physically until you came in the following day. This way, I can address you the day of when you have those questions. The next one is small group interactions. How can I personalize each student's education? And so I am going to do as much as I can, more so than last year hopefully, to work with you more individually and help you individually to achieve the best that you can. And there's some ways that you can do this as well by involving yourself more in small group discussions. So don't stay quiet, ask your questions, answer questions. And then when you need help and you identify yourself as needing help, make sure to get my attention when we have time in class, which we should have a lot, so that I can help you more individually. And so there's more time for remediation. There's time for me to be able to help you individually. So that goes with that one. And then again, going back to pace, you will be more able to determine what is a priority for you in this class. I will give you the assignments and I'll tell you the due dates. You need to figure it out from there. And so you being able to figure that out will help you to become a better student, not only in my class, but in others as well. So at this point, you're probably thinking, how is this all going to work? There are a couple of things that are required. First of all, you must take notes. That is an absolute requirement. So in that regard, you should already be taking notes on this particular video in something. A notebook is what I would recommend, a composition notebook, because it can be all in one place. So it'll be chronological, and so your notes will be one place, so that when you're looking for something, you don't have to go through all these different pieces of loose leaf paper. It's only in one location. Now, there will be a video almost every night, on average 10 to 15 minutes. Some will be shorter, some will be a little bit longer. The way they're numbered is, if you look at this one is 101. So the first digit is the term. So all of the 100s videos are for first term, and then second term 200, third term 300, and then after that they're all chronological. So 101 will be the first, 102 will be the next, and so forth. Not only are notes required, but you also must attempt all of the questions in the video. I will try to always have what I call priming questions at the beginning. I will show them at the beginning and at the end. In most videos, though, I will also have other questions in the video. You need to attempt all of the questions. And by attempt, you need to write out the question and you need to show me that you have made an honest effort to do that particular question and to answer it to the best of your abilities. I don't care if you are wrong. All I care about is that you are trying and you're thinking about the material. In class, the first 5 to 10 minutes, this will be when I go through and I check your notes. You will be getting a grade for every single time you take notes. During that time, as I'm going around checking, I expect you to be working in small groups, discussing the video, going through the questions, and if any of you have additional questions, to be asking those with those around you. It is up to you to make sure that you and your group understand the material. After that, if there are any overarching questions that you weren't able to answer, that's when we'll do a class discussion. And typically I will start with the videos that I've posted to make sure that all of you have the right answers there. And then if you have any other questions, we will get those addressed then. From there, you'll have time to go through practice problems from the worksheets and any online practice, which I'll go through more in depth in class. And then the labs, you'll be able to perform the labs, and you should be able to complete the lab reports in class as well. And there will be some more comprehensive lab reports, but again, you'll have time. So, feedback. I am always looking for ways to improve, and your honest, constructive feedback will help me. But most of all, by helping me, I will be able to help all of you even more.